The Board Game Nights decided to do an introduction special for the Dice Tower, where we reviewed our top 10 things that we would like to see as board games. Unfortunately, we were not able to put this up on the Dice Tower network, and so instead we decided to put it up here on our old channel. We hope you enjoy.
Hello and welcome, we're the Board Game Nights. I'm Sam Gillespie.
I'm Christoph Schrader.
And I'm Jessica Jones.
And this week we're doing a top 10 video of things we'd like to see as board games.
This list consists of anything like books, TV shows, movies, anything that we'd like to see as a board game.
This doesn't include reskin versions, such as Monopoly versions.
Alright, so let's get to it. Number 10.
Number 10.
Alright, let's roll. I rolled a 1.
4.
Just goes first.
My top 10, wait, no, it's the 10th one,
Yes, top 10,
is
number
Invader
10.
Zim. I would like to be able to see an Invader Zim board game. I would like to be able to have one player as Zim trying to stop all the other invaders from taking over Earth, and everyone else playing as invaders trying to chaotically take over Earth.
Very cool, very cool.
Very good. What's yours, Christoph?
Mine was actually a battle of the bands, so something a bit different, a bit abstract, if you might think. So an actual, like, I thought of it basically that you do a cooperative. You could do it cooperative, or you could have separate little bands you're trying to make. So it's like card drafting sort of thing. So you're getting new band members, new instruments, concert venues, and just trying to make the best band you can. But it's sort of like Spinal Tap sort of thing. So it's really overdone and ridiculous. That's my number 10. It would just be fun and different from what you guys might pick.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good. Mine was also actually Invader Zim as well.
So elaborate.
So, yeah, pretty much the same idea of Zim holding out against the invaders, or maybe have different players be the different roles in the TV series that are holding out. Dib somewhere, exactly.
Dib, definitely.
Yeah, yeah, it'd be a good fun game, I reckon. So, yeah, that's our number 10. Let's move to number 9.
Number 9.
Alright, re-rolling to see who's going. Number 3.
5. I win again.
All right.
This dice is rubbish.
Yep. Okay, so my number 9 is Anchorman. I would like to be able to see just a chaotic, stupidly funny Anchorman series where they're trying to present the news, and you get points for making more and more ridiculous news. Each person is a different person.
That could be quite fun, I think.
Yeah.
It'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And what about yours, Christoph?
Well, I chose an anime series called Cowboy Bebop. A lot of you might have seen it or not seen it. If you don't watch anime, I'd recommend you watch it anyway. It's something you can get into easily because it is quite fun. It is a space anime, so there is space involved, and the big thing is bounty hunting. I thought that a bounty hunter game, probably like Firefly the game, might have been... Yeah, so I'd base it off of Firefly maybe, but to reskin it for Cowboy Bebop would be amazing.
That actually probably would work better than the Firefly one, which was pretty good anyway.
And the art would be awesome.
Absolutely.
Thank you. And it'd play the soundtrack in the background while you're playing it, even better.
Yeah,
Christoph would love that.
Yeah.
My number 9 is a video game called Stalker of Shadow of Chernobyl. This one was basically a very dark, grim sort of game where everyone's playing as survivors in a radioactive fallout of the power plant at Chernobyl. This one would probably be a bit more of a very dark, very grim game where every player started dropping dead of radiation and other horrors and abominations. It would be actually an interesting horror-themed game.
I've never heard of it.
That'd be so good.
But I'd like to play that game if there was a game.
Absolutely.
You hear that?
Yeah, that'd be good.
Cool.
Alright, number 8.
Number 8.
Rerolling. 2.
I win again!
6!
Oh,
What?
it's a 6.
You rolled a pair, not a 6.
But it's a 6.
Alright, so my number 8 was Command & Conquer Red Alert.
Ooh.
So, of all of the Command & Conquer games, the Red Alert one would be really interesting. And you have other games that are set in those wartime themes like Axis and Allies and that sort of jazz. But,
Twilight Struggle.
yeah, well, that's Cold War, but that's... Anyway,
For King and Country.
So Red Alert has this very absurd alternate history side of things where you're, defending Einstein against the Nazis and stuff like that.
You could do it quite cartoonish, I'd imagine.
Yeah, you could have like this a nice World War II war game that's a bit silly and a bit more ridiculous. I think that would be a bit more interesting than just another one of those World War II games.
Yeah, not as dry as, say,
Yeah, you actually start to laugh at the ridiculous cards and things like that as they pop up.
Yeah, it'd be a bit sillier, but it'd be good fun.
Who was next?
Mine is Get Smart. I would like to somehow incorporate a Rube Goldberg machine into the board game. As you're doing it,
It's like Mousetrap.
Yeah, no. More like one player is the main character. What's his name? And then the other characters are acting. Yeah, the other characters are acting as 99, and other characters trying to save him from basically killing himself at the end of it.
All the players have to stop him from
Yes,
dying.
yeah, pretty much. That's the goal of the game.
So it's cooperative, yet you're playing against one of the players.
Yes,
So-
yeah.
That's a new market right there.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah.
Cool.
Alright, so
And
Crystal?
I drew the 3, which is the lowest number, funny
Drew
enough.
the
And I
3.
still think a pair is not a number, Sam.
Oh, I'm sorry.
This dice has a pair on it. You have to choose if it's a 1 or 6.
He
Anyway,
chooses-
moving on.
Yeah, my number 8 was an anime series yet again. It's one of my last ones on the list, but I like anime, so I put it up nice and high. It is the Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Right.
It is a very big series, a very controversial series.
Yeah.
And I just thought, how on earth would you put it into a board game? I'd probably stage it with like 17 rounds and one for each of the angels. If you haven't seen the show, the angels are like the monsters in the show, the bad guys, so to speak.
Would
A little
they
more
be-
convoluted than that, but that's a short run of it.
Would there be just one random card and they would just go, someone
Like
has
an
a mental
event,
breakdown and the entire board
Yeah,
gets
so
flipped
I'd
over
imagine
and
it would-
the game ends for no reason.
It would
because
probably-
the
And
everyone's
top card-
confused as to what just
everyone's
happened.
It would
confused,
probably cooperative. It would probably be cooperative.
Yes,
and,
yeah.
But I love that show. It's my favorite anime
Yeah.
series, and it would be
Yeah.
amazing to see a nice, colourful show for that. Board
Board
game
game
for that. Thank you
Yeah,
very much.
yeah.
But yeah, that'd be good.
Alright,
Awesome.
next one's number 7.
Number 7.
7. 6.
Another
Haha.
pair.
Three.
Go.
You can go second because you rolled a pair last time. Right?
Alright.
I rolled a 6. The highest number should be a pair. Should not be a number. It is not a number.
Alright, Christoph.
I'll remind you, a pair is not a number.
You can complain about the
and-
one.
My number 7 is actually higher on someone else's list.
Oh.
So we're going to talk about it then. What about you guys?
My number 7 is a video game called Bastion. Now, Bastion is set in the fall of the world, another one of those sort of...
You like post-apocalyptic.
Well, but Bastion has this very colourful, sort of childlike wonder theme to it, and I reckon that as a board game could translate very well when you have this everyone trying to deal with the new world, or perhaps even set in before the fall, before everything goes down terribly, to sort of build up that world, because that world is just fantastic with so much backstory, so much lore that you can just make so much content for it without any difficulty, and it would be amazing.
Have you played Bastion?
I haven't played
I have
Bastion.
not. I watched my wife play it, and
Yeah.
it looked amazing, but even better the soundtrack. So I didn't
Oh,
watch
yeah.
much, but I heard
Yeah.
the soundtrack. It is an indie game, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Cool. So you could probably get the license relatively easy as compared to some other stuff we've mentioned.
Yeah.
But you know, you could probably like ship the soundtrack with it or a copy of the game as well,
That'd be
because
awesome.
it looked really cool. And as a board game, it would fit like the hex and area placement and movement really
Yeah,
well.
exactly.
So adapting it wouldn't be as hard as some of these.
Board game designers out there, that's what you have to do.
Yeah.
Alright, and Jess.
Mine is a movie called V for Vendetta. I would
Ooh,
like
cool.
to be able to see...
Do we have a Guy Fawkes mask?
Yeah, exactly, yeah, no. I would like to be able to see where one character is V for V, but no one knows who that person is, and they're all
Ooh.
interacting as each other, and no one knows who the policeman is, and no one knows who the...
Hidden
So-
Rules
yeah,
game.
so it's
Hidden
Hidden
Roles game,
Roles.
basically.
Okay.
And all basically going to try to destroy the Parliament.
Hidden Roles Revolution.
Yeah.
So resistance but good.
Yeah, and I don't like...
Wow. Alright.
yeah, pretty much.
You can tell we did not like that game.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
we'll
yeah.
get into that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's our number 7.
Moving on
Yes.
to number 6.
Number 6.
Number 6.
Alright. Alright guys, we're rolling.
Rolling again. 6 again!
4.
Oh, that's
Reroll.
right.
Reroll. 5.
6!
I say that Jess goes first because you rolled a pair again and the pair is cheating.
Oh,
You can
he's
go.
got. Alright,
You
well,
can
I'm going to go first. My number 6 is Breaking Bad, but this is
Ooh.
higher on someone else's list, so we'll
Yep.
leave it there for now.
That's going to be a
Yeah.
good discussion, I think.
Jess?
Mine is Pokemon. Now, I know that there is a Pokemon card game, but what I'd like to be able to see is a Pokemon board game.
I used to play the trading card game. That was my number 7, so
Yeah,
now we're
yeah,
going to talk
yeah,
about
now
it.
you're
If it's a trading card game, it already exists.
Yeah, but
That's
a board
but
game.
a board game version of it. I'd like to be able to
Board
see
game.
one where you're
Oh, right.
actually going out and capturing the Pokemon, leveling them up, and then at some
Yeah,
point in the
'cause-
game, flips over, and then you're suddenly versing each other.
Imagine that you'd be like card drafting at the start for your
I
starter
know,
Pokemon.
yeah.
You'd be evolving them and
I
like
know, it'd be so much.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
yeah, we're getting excited.
Yeah, it'd be pretty
fun,
cool.
It would be a pretty cool
Cool.
board game, yeah.
Alright.
I'll give it that.
Yes.
I'll allow it.
Yeah. He'll know it. He's pissy.
If
about
you can
it.
accept this pair.
Yeah,
I will
we accept
never
it.
accept the pair. Alright, it's mine now?
Yes.
Alright, mine is my first video game on my list is The Legend of Zelda. I'm doing a lot of nostalgic stuff here today. Now, The Legend of Zelda, a lot of you playing board games will likely play video games, and because of that you have likely played the Zelda series, at least one of them. They're very popular, very colourful. All my stuff's colourful, I love colour.
Yes.
Yeah, and I don't know how you'd make it into a board game. That's the one thing I struggled with doing. I
Yeah.
was kind of like, well,
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff to work with.
But then again, they made Lord of the Rings into a million games, and Lord of the Rings, like, I'm currently playing
Yeah,
Lord of the
yeah.
Rings LCG, Fantasy Flight games, really good, and that can be played solo.
Yes.
So it would be a game that you'd be able to play as solo, and then maybe add on to second, third, and fourth players as like other allies, maybe.
Well,
You
you
can
could
have it as like a weird Twitch style game where everyone is sort of controlling
Twitch.
him.
You
at the
do also
same
have
time.
in that series you have The Legend of Zelda: Four Swords, which has all
That's
4 different
true.
coloured versions of Link, which you could probably throw together to make something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I love the franchise,
Yeah.
and to have a board game of it would be cool.
That would be pretty good.
Yeah.
All right.
Number 5.
Okay, I'm sick of Sam rolling pairs because they're not fair, so I'm going
Oh.
to take that die away from you. You can have a normal die like everyone
All right.
else.
I'll have a D20 then, and you can have a D4.
Let me double this one.
Oh,
All right. Let's roll.
Let's roll! Everything's fair!
I rolled a 3,
Eight.
to be fair.
7.
I rolled a 3 from that. That's pretty good
That's
for a
pretty
D4.
good.
That's good for a
Off you
D4.
go.
Oh, good. Okay. Mine is I want to see a Marvel versus Square Enix versus DC Comics battle, royal battle.
Good luck
battle,
getting the
battle,
license for
battle.
that. But
I know!
That will never happen.
I know, that's
But-
why I'm putting it into the top 10 list.
But-
I would love to see it, but, I know it would never
that would
happen.
appeal to so many
I
people.
know!
All
Batman
those
versus-
fandoms coming together and like aggressively
I
playing
know!
who's gonna
It's like
win.
you'd have like a DC deck and you have a Square Enix deck
it would
and you
be-
have all
it
the
would be a
different decks.
money-
No.
But
Yes.
it would be a money machine.
I know, exactly, and I
Expansions.
love that. I love that sort of.
I could see
the-
Fantasy Flight doing something like that.
Batman versus Spider-Man versus Cloud.
And then
What the hell?
Yes.
and then you can mix in the Lord of the Rings LCG.
Yes.
So Gandalf comes in randomly.
Yeah, no, you could just have different decks for
This is
different characters.
No, it's excellent.
It's excellent.
Okay, it's either terrible or amazing, and I'll.
Oh, both
I'll pick
at the
one.
same time.
All right, I'm next up, and mine is Howl's Moving Castle.
Oh, okay. I also chose Studio Ghibli, so the Studio Ghibli collection
Yes.
of movies and the art house for my number.
Exactly.
So you talk about House for a
Yes,
bit.
well, so Howl's has this fantastic world where there's these moving castles and magic is weird while a war's going on. So there's like heaps of different subplots going on throughout this film, and each of them could be explored in a board game format.
It's almost like a World War II setting.
Oh,
Because there's not enough of those games.
Yeah.
No one's ever made a World War II or Cthulhu game.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
we
Wow,
need more.
imagine- we need a World War II Cthulhu game.
Oh wow!
God, both at the same
Wait, what have we
time.
done? What have we
Anyway,
done?
so you'd say just
Well,
the Studio Ghibli line.
I put down Studio Ghibli because I love all their films. Not all their films. There's some I don't like, but most of them, I like a lot.
Yep.
And I think a good one, which would make a good board game, would be The Cat Returns.
Yes, yes.
Who has seen The Cat Returns? All right, Jess has seen The Cat Returns. Colourful cats, different,
Cats.
And they
Cats
return.
always good.
And they return, apparently.
Yeah,
And-
yeah.
I don't know, something about that world.
Well-
That it's a little fantasy world, and the cats running around everywhere. They come and visit you. So I'm not too sure how it would play out for a board game again.
Yeah.
But
Well, see, that's the thing is that I really love Studio Ghibli. I don't think it would work as a board game unless you're playing it by yourself, because
Or
I
you could
think
do
it is one of those
Sam
series
mentioned
where
this
it's such
before.
a personal thing.
We talked about
you
this
know?
before, and we think that it could actually work as a Studio Ghibli universe. So
Yeah.
you're playing
Yeah.
a game which uses
That
the
would be
Studio
cool.
Ghibli universe and has a new content or
Yeah.
Oh, well,
plot towards it.
alternatively, Studio Ghibli made a video game last year called Ni no Kuni, but which
That's
is
true.
entirely
That's
a new
very true.
IP, so it could very well be that Studio Ghibli make a new IP for a board game
Yeah,
could work
totally.
very well.
Okay.
Hey, more board games
And
are
just had,
selling
like,
every year than video games.
Yeah,
Exactly,
yeah,
so
yeah. And
why
it
not?
had like a subtle mention towards the.
Did you hear that, Ghibli?
Yeah, yeah.
We're looking at
yeah,
you.
We're looking at you. Yeah.
All right, number 4.
Number 4.
All right, let's roll.
I rolled a 1.
16. All right, I'm going first. So my number 4 is Deus Ex. Now this one actually has 3. This is a video game. There's 3 in the line. There's the regular Deus Ex. There's the sequel, Invisible War, and then there's the Human Revolution. So you've got the whole human genetics, genomes, and DNA.
Yeah.
Cyberpunk sort of feel to a game, and that one could work really well. I think.
It would
How
appeal to
would
a
you
lot
do
of
it?
people how would you do it? But I think it would appeal to a lot, if you do it right, of course.
Yes.
It'll probably appeal to a lot of people who enjoy that whole steampunk
Yeah.
aspect of
Well,
games.
no, Cyberpunk and Steampunk is 2 different things. But yeah, anyway, it's also got those secret underground organizations like the Illuminati sort of thing. So you could have sort of like a hidden. Everyone's basically has an agent or something that they're trying to build up and become more powerful to try and take over things in the Deus Ex world. I suppose
Things.
stuff.
Things.
Yeah, and there's a lot to work with there. Again, another very fleshed out world. What's your number?
My number is 4. 4, is it 4? Jeez. Where Attack on Titan.
Ooh,
I would like
anime,
to see
yes.
anime
as
series.
a board game. Yes.
I'm happy to see this on your list.
Yes, yeah. No, it's a very, very gory series, so I do not recommend it for anyone under 18 because it is very.
And you
Adult,
couldn't, and you
yeah.
could not adapt that for a younger crowd. at
No,
all.
Exactly.
it would be an
so
adult.
you'd-
It would
yeah,
ruin
yeah.
the game. Yeah.
I don't know how you would do it as a board game, but I still like to see it as a board game.
I don't know. It would have to be cooperative unless there
It
were
would
two.
need to be an attacking
unless
Yeah.
unless it was asymmetrical and you had titans.
Unless you had a secret Titan character, so it's like
that
hidden rolls again.
that or
yeah.
you have one side who is playing as titans.
Yeah.
Just trying to eat everyone.
Yeah. It'd be easy just to have one Titan that you're attacking, just like what's it called? The Arkham Horror one? The one
Oh,
where you're
yeah,
attacking
yeah.
the different monsters, so you attack a different Titan.
Or Elder
Yeah.
Sign.
Yeah,
Elder
Elder Sign.
Sign.
That's what
yeah.
I love. Yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't want it to be some sort of like Munchkin thing where you draw a new monster every turn and then be like, oh, we're defeating another one. Oh,
Exactly,
yeah.
yeah.
No, you have to do that one a bit more proper than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that sounds good. And then Christoph with your number 1.
My number.
No, your rolled the 1. Sorry.
I rolled a 1. I'm changing to a D8.
Number-
I'm changing to a D8.
Oh,
by the way, just
okay, all right.
balance out a bit. Okay, my number 4. I chose something completely different here. I chose a sport. All right, and I'm wearing the right shirt for it today. I chose Formula 1. All right, I love my motorsport, and Formula 1 is something I've been watching since I was a wee 4-year-old little boy.
Yeah.
And there is, all right, Sam, you're obviously going to mention Formula D.
Yes.
There is Formula D. I would not say it's a Formula 1 game. Don't. Shh. Okay, it has a really nice mechanic with the gear shifting and all that. Awesome. All right, it has the track of Monaco, even better, and it's actually accurate. Lovely. However, to see a properly licensed game for Formula 1, Bernie Ecclestone will jump all over that and put lots of money into it because he's a big billionaire. But it would be amazing. Like the photography that would go into it, I love that. The color. But like basically steal Formula D, reskin it, and then your expansions would be more tracks.
Yeah.
And
So
you could-
basically, you
and-
want them to make a Formula D.
but reskin it.
Oh, okay. So change the D to a 1. Off you go.
No,
Make millions.
No. But then you could make it so that there's different tracks, and then there's also different eras. Because with Formula 1, there's a lot of appeal. People who have watched Formula 1 previously will have, like the 70s cars, the turbo era in the 80s, the 90s with the smoking, or not smoking, but the cigarette branding everywhere, but it's now gone. But yeah, I don't know. It's just,
We'll be here all day. Let's move on to the next one. Number 3.
Number 3.
All right, number 3. Let's go. 16.
I rolled a 7!
Yeah.
At least I rolled a 7 on a D8, Sam, unlike a
That's true.
16 on a D20.
That's about the same. Anyway, so my number 3 is Okami. Now, this one's a video game made by
yeah.
Clover Studios.
Cell shaded, so it
Yeah.
looks beautiful.
It to this day, it's still one of the prettiest games out there, and
Yeah.
there's so much. It's basically all based on Japanese lore as well. So you've got all these
Yeah.
fantastic historical stories that you can throw together. And the game had this interesting mechanic whereby you could freeze time and draw symbols to interact with the world. And I think you
Yeah,
could chuck
yeah.
that on a dice, for instance.
Oh,
and
yeah.
when you were fighting a monster, you could roll the dice to see what
Yeah,
actually happens.
Like a
Yeah.
6-sided die with these 6 patterns, you have to make different
But
combinations
see,
of
the
them. or-
rare
possibly,
ones,
yeah.
like bombs and things like that, maybe you had you need to have like a couple of die where only one of them has like the bombs on them. So you need to
Yes.
roll a couple to be able to set it in
Yeah.
or something
Exactly,
like
to,
that.
to fight off the monsters, and
Yeah.
all the while telling this interesting story. Is I
Yeah.
think there's a lot there.
It would be, yeah, no, it'd be beautiful.
Cool, but would it be a
Pretty.
multiplayer game? Would it be?
Well, it would definitely have to be a multiplayer,
Yeah.
obviously.
How you would do that? Just more wolves.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well,
More wolves.
there's a lot of other characters in it. You could
Yeah,
probably,
that's true. Yeah.
No, that's a good one. It's colourful and it's probably family friendly too.
Very
I'd say.
family friendly.
Yeah,
It's
it's
very.
just
Colourful, good.
Very
and if
fun,
it was
yeah.
co-op, then making it family friendly would also be better because when you're in a family, if you're attacking each other, everyone needs to have a timeout afterwards.
So basically, we take Pandemic and put wolves on it.
Yes. Pretty much.
Just what are you? Yes.
Mine is How to Train a Dragon.
Oh.
Yes. Everyone is a human with their own dragon. I don't know how you do it. I would just like to see it.
No, that one
so
seems to
pretty.
port quite easily. Everyone,
Yeah.
everyone is a trainer. They have a dragon. You're training your dragon.
Yeah.
How?
I know. How to? It's called
Yeah.
How to Train Your Dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
There we go.
And I imagine
pretty
they
straightforward.
probably jump all over that too. You know, like
Exactly. Yeah.
cool. All right,
Yep.
I like that.
Yep.
And Christoph.
Now mine is actually higher up. It's actually number 1 on one of these guys' lists. So we'll get to it then.
Who could it be? Number 2.
Number 2.
Right. Rolling for number 2.
Number 2.
Me too.
3.
7.
9!
I beat your D8 for fun. We're gonna swap.
Oh, well, okay.
I get the D20.
All right, off you go then.
I'm first.
Yeah.
I'm first.
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
I
you're
got a 9.
I'm sorry. You
Yeah,
go first.
yeah.
What are you rolling? A D10?
D12.
D12. When did you do that?
She's been doing that for the last 2
Yeah,
rounds.
you didn't even notice.
All
Yeah.
right, you go first, Jess.
Yes. Okay, I'd like to be able to see Simon Pegg and Nick Frost's The World's End as
Yes.
a board game where you're trying to get through all 12 pubs to. I don't
Before the
know,
world ends.
Before the world ends, basically. Yeah, that's it.
I'm not too sure if a pub is a word that goes across to American viewers. However,
Bars,
Bar.
basically.
bars.
Yeah, if you haven't seen the film, it's definitely a great
Yeah.
sci-fi.
Comedy.
To say it's a
Comedy?
sci-fi,
Yeah.
English comedy?
in the first half an hour, you do not know it's a sci-fi.
No,
No.
you don't.
When
It's great.
we were watching it, Sam turned to me and said, "This is a sci-fi,"
And Christoph refused to believe me.
Yeah.
and then it happened. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's good.
absolutely.
That would
great
be
film.
pretty cool because that would be sort of a cooperative going these different points along the game, and you'd have a certain round
Yeah.
order, so you know when the game's going to end. You'd have a good
And
feel
then,
for it.
as your characters, some of them could get suddenly replaced by
yeah,
by
totally.
By the blank.
By
it
the
does,
blanks.
does mean that all of
Yeah.
a sudden then they
Spoiler
start.
alert.
It starts becoming not just cooperative, but also then there's an enemy component as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it becomes a betrayer aspect. Like
Yeah.
betrayal. That could
Betrayal of
that
the
would
House on the Hill.
work. Yeah, that'd be
awesome.
interesting.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Right.
Christoph.
I'm next. All right, this was mentioned in Sam's list earlier, but he can't talk about it until now. We are talking about Breaking Bad.
Yes.
Okay, now
So now this isn't really very family friendly, is it?
no, it is not. But it's a very, very successful TV show.
Yep.
We've all seen it. So Jess hasn't finished it. Sam and I have finished it, and we love it. And to make it into a board game, that would be so much fun.
Yeah, you've got so much to work with. You've got so many different characters,
Yeah.
so many different scenes.
As an intellectual property, it is just dense. It's
Yeah.
full. It's,
Yeah.
There's so much you can do with it. So many different ideas. Where would you even begin?
I'm not
So
too sure.
much fun.
Yeah, you'd have sort of like making the meth and trying to sell it in the streets. Yeah, obviously not for kids,
Yes,
but
yeah.
no, it'd be a very interesting game. I'd love to see that.
Yeah.
And my one is actually a book. Now, this is The Magician by Raymond E. Feist.
Cool.
Now, this one is it's a classic literature. If you haven't read it, absolutely pick it up. It's really good. And basically, the premise is that you have this fantasy world that gets invaded by almost another dimension, which is like a weird fantasy sci-fi crossover. And just the descriptions and everything in that book, and just so much content again. You've got dragons and mages and otherworldly beings coming in trying to invade. It's just so much good stuff in it.
I haven't read it myself, but
Yep.
I do know it is a bestseller. It is a classic, and obviously because of that, you're going to get crossover. People who play board games who are going to have read that book and love it, they will immediately see it and go, "Hey, I want to play that."
Exactly.
Well, how much has Lovecraft been replicated into so many different board games?
I know.
You
yeah.
know, just yeah.
And I mean, Lovecraft is pretty good, but I mean,
Yeah.
The Magician just has like 13 books in the series.
Yeah.
There's more than enough content you could fill thousands of board games. So
Yeah.
I'm surprised that it hasn't been picked up for either board games or video games. But I'd love to see that. All right, that's our number 2. So finally, our number 1. Let's go.
And finally, number 1.
All right, we're rolling for number 1 now.
Rolling for number
and
1.
I'm rolling the d20 to balance out those other rolls.
I'm rolling 3d6.
That's not fair.
All right, I rolled the d8. All right, let's go.
7.
I rolled a 1 for 1.
19.
19.
Christopher with the highest roll goes first.
Finally,
Yeah.
it's finally balanced out. The universe is
I get to
Yeah.
finish.
You do get to
You do?
finish,
Oh, that's
yeah,
good. I bet you. I hope yours is
Sort
good,
of
Sam.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, now my number 1 is a bit out of left field. It's a television show, and it's Hell's Kitchen.
Ooh.
Hell's Kitchen.
That's a good one.
Gordon Ramsay.
Really?
Now, yes, I immediately saw this in my brain that it was in my mind that it was a cooperative game. Everyone has the different kitchen, like the red and the blue they normally do. So
Yeah.
it can be like a 2-player game. It can be a 4-player. It can be an 8-player game.
Yes.
Right? So wide variety. It could be 1v1. But then cooperatively trying to make the best kitchen possible, get the food out fast. So it would be sort of like Space Cadets Dice Duel.
Panic,
It would be
panicking.
real time. Everyone's making a different dish.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, with the
Yeah,
dice,
and then there's like a random tape of Gordon Ramsay yelling at you
swearing.
because that would be wonderful.
That'd be great. That'd be great. Yeah.
You'd have to have that ready.
That's my number 1 because I want to play that game.
All right.
You may follow.
Off you go, Jess.
Mine is Portal. There is already a game in
development.
development.
Yes,
Yes,
by
yes,
Valve.
I've heard about
Yeah.
that. Yeah, which would be exciting. But I would like to be able to see a pre-Portal game. I would like to be able to
Yes.
see GLaDOS flooding the system with gas, and I would like to be able to see the Ratman trying to send out his messages, and that's him winning. Doesn't matter if he dies; he just wins if he gets out the messages.
Right.
Some random scientists trying to escape, and some humanists trying to save the test
So
subjects.
it's asymmetrical, yeah. So
Yeah.
everyone's got a different role they're trying to fulfill.
Exactly, yeah.
Yes. So you actually have a player-controlled GLaDOS, a player-controlled Ratman, and then everyone else doing different things
Exactly,
on the side.
yeah.
I'm not
so,
entirely sure what the actual Valve game is doing. It looks like some hexes and trying to move between places and get points somehow.
yeah, so that
Possibly.
sounds like
Moving
more
cubes.
like during
Not too
Portal,
sure,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
that's a pre-Portal game is that actually separates it then, so you're not doubling up. It's,
Yeah.
That's something separate. And that
Well, I
actually
love
be
the
pretty
story.
cool.
I know it's cheesy, but I like the story.
Hey, it's your number one. You
It's
obviously
pretty
like
good.
it. You obviously like it.
That's a pretty good idea.
And drum roll.
And the final one, Persona. Shin Megami Tensei Persona is
This-
a video game series which was on Christoph's
This was my
list.
number 3.
Yes. So now, Persona is a JRPG on the PlayStation 2.
Japanese role-playing
Japanese
game.
role-playing game, sorry. And is basically just this fantastic world with many different creatures and monsters. Basically, you play as a high school student going exploring dungeons at night when you have these persona, which are more or less demons, for lack of better terms. And
I immediately think Shadowhunters.
yeah, well,
Not really.
I-
but
yeah.
when you say that, I immediately think Shadowhunters. But, yeah.
well, the thing is that you've got these like 20 different arcanas of school, so you could actually make this a full collectible card game with all the different
Totally could.
things,
You
with all the
totally
different personas involved with that, and I mean, you've also got all the different characters in the series. They've made fighting games from it. There's that many characters and that much story going on involved with it. There's a lot to work with. A lot of flexibility would be very interesting.
It would be really cool, like the different expansions for different arcana and which ones you choose to play with. Because
Yeah.
that will be the one that you're choosing to play. It's almost like, say, in Summoner Wars, where you'll choose your faction to
Yeah,
play
yeah,
with.
exactly.
You choose an arcana to play with.
and then you just get more and more as
Yeah.
as time
Have
goes
you
by.
played Persona?
I haven't played.
You need to
Persona.
play Persona.
Yeah.
You need to play
Yeah.
Persona.
You
I
right
have.
there,
Yeah.
just you
Yeah,
right now,
everyone.
right now.
Everyone.
Stop the
I need
video.
to stop.
Play Persona.
I need
Yeah.
to go play Persona.
Okay.
and even better as a board game, that would be amazing. I'd totally do that. Yeah,
Absolutely.
totally.
All right, that's all. We hope you enjoyed our top 10 things we'd like to see as board games.
You can see us, the Board Game Nuts, here on the Dice Tower every week. Keep an eye out for all of our new videos.
We'll see you then.
Bye.